You know, looking at this season, Minnesota was a huge surprise this year as a team. So was Illinois. But individually, Joel, was there any part of you back in August that thought, you know, Jack Coan is going to be in the top 3 in the country in completion percentage by the time we're in December?
Well, you know, to be honest, I didn't know if Jack was going to be able to beat out Mertz. You know,
Right.
I think all of us were kind of expecting maybe Mertz was going to be the quarterback. So what Jack has done is solidified this Wisconsin program, because regardless of what they do running the football, and it's always been tremendous, they really need that efficient quarterback play in order to be at their best. And he's provided that this year, over 70%, like you were mentioning, has not turned it over a ton. And last week, in a week in which Minnesota did a really nice job of containing Jonathan Taylor, Coan was really the engine to the offense. He was making great throws down the field in tough conditions, the snow coming down, you know. And to me, I thought that was the difference in the game, was Coan's ability to make plays, be accurate, be on time with the football. And he's done that.
52 yards rushing for Jonathan Taylor against the Buckeyes. Taylor shut down a little bit against Minnesota as Minnesota really tried to stop the run, but Jack Coan made up for it. So I think Jack Coan's way more efficient when the run game's going, and Wisconsin football is at its best when they can run the football, control time of possession. So, Joel, my question is, how do they get Jonathan Taylor going in this championship game to set up some of those play actions down the field to Cephas and Davis and Pryor?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's a good question. And I think what they've got to do is that they've got to focus on things outside of the run game first. And that is very much outside of their MO and their blueprint. Normally it's establish Taylor, get to all of those things off of the successful run. But against Ohio State, I just don't know if that's going to work. They've been far too good against the run for the entirety of the season. They played a kind of a different style of defense against Wisconsin, used it a little bit against Michigan, where they played 4 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers and then just 3 DBs, so kind of a true 4-4 set. That really gave Wisconsin a lot of problems. I'd be shocked if Wisconsin came in there and tried to just run the football in order to establish Taylor early. To me, what I think you got to do is you got to give them the look like you're going to try to run the football. They're going to have to stop it because he's the best player. And then you get to the jet sweeps, you get to the reverses, you get to the short passing game, and you try to do that on base down in order to stay on schedule so that you can be two-dimensional once you hit third down. You got to be in 3rd and 3 rather than 3rd and 8, because Chase Young is just too dynamic as a pass rusher. The rest of the pass rush is too dynamic to sit there and try to throw the football on 3rd and 8. I don't think they'll have a lot of success trying to do that.
All right, let's turn to some big picture things from across the league now. Last weekend, you called Ohio State, Michigan. This millennium, the total score is Buckeyes 17, Wolverines 2. What has to happen for Michigan to get another win one day against Ohio State?
Well, that's a great question. They've got to recruit better. And I don't know, there's going to be a lot made of Coach Harbaugh, the job he's doing specifically against Ohio State. And yet, I think this is the wrong year to evaluate that. I really do. This Ohio State team, guys, is the best team that I've ever covered from the booth. They're just dominant. Think about their defense. They've got, if you go back to the 2017 recruiting rankings, what you'll see is that of the 8 best defenders nationally, all positions, just 8 best defenders, Ohio State has 4 of those players on this defense alone, right? Like they're one of the most talented teams I've ever seen. They might have 3 guys in New York for the Heisman Trophy, for goodness sakes. They've got a great quarterback. Their coach is elite. Their defense is elite. Everything's elite about this team. So I think it's the wrong year to sit here and be like, how can Michigan not beat Ohio State? I think this is the wrong year to do that. Having said that, 17-2 is not the ratio you want. They've got to recruit better, and I think they've got to recruit better at the line of scrimmage. If you looked at what happened on Saturday, it was pretty clear from my eyes and from my spot in the booth that Michigan's offensive line was not doing a great job running the football, setting the tone, winning the line of scrimmage, while Ohio State's offensive line was.
The game's always won or lost on line of scrimmage. Of course, all the skill guys, the quarterbacks, they get all the love. So my question is, in the Big Ten Conference and even nationally, who is someone that can line up in the line of scrimmage man-to-man with Ohio State? It's not just Chase Young. We both know that, right? Chase Young gets a lot of pub. That offensive line's been very good. Thayer, Mumford, and co. What other team in the trenches can match up with Ohio State?
Well, I think there's only two other teams in the country that can match up anywhere, much less the trenches, and that's LSU and Clemson. I can't wait to watch Ohio State play one of those teams. Hopefully we get a chance to see that.
Joel, one more quick one before we let you go. How concerned should Cornhusker fans be that in 2 years of Scott Frost, they haven't even made a bowl game yet?
Yeah, I mean, that's not what we all expected this year. I thought that they had the schedule, the quarterback, and the cohesiveness from last season, playing well late, to make a little bit of a run in the West Division this year, and it didn't happen. I'm going to tell you the exact same thing I said for Michigan. They're not good enough at the line of scrimmage, period. It doesn't matter who you recruit from a skill position player standpoint. It doesn't even really matter who your quarterback is. If you can't block anybody and you can't win the line of scrimmage from a defensive line perspective, that's where Scott Frost has got to get better. And let's also keep in mind, they're trying to recoup from years of poor recruiting.
Right.
Okay. And it's going to take a couple of cycles. I think we all thought that there would be a little bit of a pop this year. It didn't happen. I still expect and believe that Scott Frost is the right guy for the job, and in a couple of years, it will be there, but they need to recruit, in particular, up front.